Hi, and welcome to It's Giving Realty podcast, the podcast that gives you all the realty in real estate. We're talking every aspect of real estate. We are covering it. If you've been afraid to get in your real estate journey, have no fear. We're here,
Hi.
okay? Every episode, I'm going to bring you an expert or a client who is either going to share their testimony or their expertise in real estate so that you can be equipped to either start your real estate journey or elevate it to a whole other level. And so today, I have with me my favorite lender, my go to lender, the one that gets cleared to close every time, Miss Coleena. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm super excited.
Thank you for joining me. And I know usually we're at a closing table. This time we're at a podcast table, right?
Both are acceptable. Both are a good time.
So, well, thank you for joining me. And I really thought it was very important to have a lender on this podcast because clients are so afraid of lenders. They're so afraid of like telling you the business when you need to know all the tea that is their finances
That's
to
right.
get them, into their homes. And so I kind of want to remove the taboo of like keeping things from you, and knowing
Absolutely.
that you are an ally. So tell me why you got into lending and then tell me the funniest truth that you learned from a client. We'll start it there.
Hmm.
Okay.
I actually got into lending because I graduated college at a time when they weren't hiring for my position.
Mm.
They offered insurance, so I took the position. It's been 18 years,
Okay.
15 years with my current company, Nola Lending. We're a division of Fidelity Bank, and I am a senior loan advisor now. The role has transitioned over the last 18 years into this advisory role where I'm not just your lender. I am also advising, giving you financial advice that's going to impact you for the rest of your life, 30
Yeah.
years. Buying a home is something that's going to. I know everyone hears the term generational wealth, but it's really going to put you in a different level.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're buying equity. You're not paying someone else's mortgage. The biggest thing is when you're renting, you're paying 100% interest. So it's not a matter of, oh, is it the right interest rate? Is it the right price? If you can afford the house, you can get approved for the loan. It's the right time.
Yes, you're right. You're right. And I have to pause for something you said that is profound. When you're renting, you're paying 100%
That's
interest
correct.
because
Huge conception,
everybody's
misconception.
like the interest rate is too high. The interest rate is too high. I think 100% is higher. Don't you think? Sorry, we want to get you some tea.
No, I appreciate the realty.
We did not plan it, but that's perfect. But yes, no, I so saying it like that I think gives people real clarity on what the interest rate really is if you're not owning something.
That's right.
5% versus 100% is a big deal.
Yes.
Because you get none of that back, right?
You don't get it back. It's not tax deductible. It's not helping you grow. It's not
Mhm.
offsetting your taxation, like we mentioned. And every time you put something into your home, you probably, when you're renting, you're living with things that you maybe wouldn't, because you're not
Yes.
going to invest in this rental property. But it's your own house. You get to customize it. You get to paint it. You get to make it yours. There's no one to tell you can't put a hole in that wall. There's no one to tell you that you can't make the house look the way you want it to. So it's the only way that I know that you can truly make a home yours
Right.
is by buying it. One of the biggest misconceptions is that you have to have this huge down payment. You and I both know we've had buyers come to the table that are getting money back.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting grants.
Yeah.
You can negotiate the seller to pay those closing
Closing
costs,
costs.
or there's all types of loan programs. So that is the biggest thing I would like to get out to buyers is that
Yeah.
you don't have to have all this money. You do need to have a steady job and be able to afford the payment.
Yes.
You do need to have a history of making payments on something. So that can be student loans. That can be a car loan. It could be. I've even had people that self-report their utilities. Let's say
Yeah.
they never borrowed money before, but you're still paying a cell phone bill.
Yeah.
You're still paying probably an internet bill or an energy bill. Those are things that you can actually report to the credit bureau to establish credit, and then that would get you in that position. So a lot of what I do is advising on how to get to that step of owning a home.
Mhm.
It doesn't always mean it's today. It could be 6 months from now. I usually say you need to have that conversation with someone like me, a loan
Yes.
advisor, at least a year before. Some people take longer to prepare. Some people are ready immediately based on their job experience. But every situation is unique, and you don't know what your situation is until you talk to someone like me.
That's the end. Until you talk to someone like me, you don't know your situation.
Right.
Because I know for me, I'm on the front end, I'm sending clients to you. And the biggest thing is, oh, I'm not ready. Oh, I can't. Oh, someone said this or someone said that. And it's like every situation is different. So I'm always like, let me put you with my lender. Let me put
Right.
you with my lender. I don't let them get anything. Let me put you with my lender because you get to look at their file and say, oh, well, the reason your such and such couldn't get assistance is because their credit was under 640 or their debt to income ratio was too high to go USDA or, you know what I mean?
There's so many moving
so many
parts.
factors, right? So I think for me, typically when a client comes to me and they're telling me no, I'm always telling them yes and. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Or
and
exactly. Or if they say, "Oh, they were denied," I said delayed, but
delayed, not denied. Denied,
exactly.
or it's about the approach, and it's not always even just the loan process, as you know, going through inspections. Sometimes you made an offer on a house that got accepted. That house wasn't for you for
Yeah.
whatever reason. The seller wasn't willing to negotiate, or was going to be too much to bring it up to your standard.
Right.
And so having these conversations sets you up so that you're just going to be so much better prepared.
Yeah.
For,
Yeah.
for the good news and the bad news, if that's how it turns out for that particular house.
And I want to say on air, thank you. Because, no, I'm serious, because I know when I first got into real estate, I had not met you in the very beginning. And I thank God that I met you now. And it has made a huge difference in my career, but also in the families I'm able to impact. Because
Totally.
when I started, the lenders that I worked with, if the file was not pretty, it was always a deny. And you know how I am. I don't take no. So
That's
I'm
what
usually,
we have in common.
exactly.
100%.
So
Don't
I'm
take no.
usually like, I
Pivot,
gotta go
pivot.
find this. I gotta figure this out. And so when I finally met someone like you and the file was not created, first of all, you don't call me with the problem. You call me to tell me about the problem because you have a solution. So you'll be like, I didn't call you yesterday because, but this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you, thank you, because although I have like luxury clients where the files are easy, or people who, generational wealth, they already have it, or families, I also have clients who are new to this. And it's not that they don't have money or that they don't have good credit, they just don't know, and so their file may be different, especially my self-employed people,
Take that, you, especially self-employed, have got to talk to me.
Exactly.
We have got to pair you. You can have money in the bank, you can have perfect credit, but if the taxes don't look the way that they're supposed to, or the bank statements don't look the way that federal requirements require them to look to lend money, it just doesn't matter that you have an 800 credit score and millions of dollars in the bank. If you borrow $1, the guideline is the same for everybody.
Exactly. And often with entrepreneurs, their tax people are telling them to write off as much as possible, where you may be telling them, well, because what kind of house are you trying to buy, right?
It's up to you. I'm going to give you direction, and you decide how you're going to file your taxes. And that's not to say that you can't have write-offs. As a self-employed person, there are many write-offs that you can have: depreciation, non-recurring losses that were just isolated to that year. You reinvested in your business, you bought new equipment that year. Well, you're not going to buy massive equipment every year, but that year you did, and we can offset that, that loss, because it's a one-time thing.
Right. It's not a consistent factor in your income.
thing.
Yes.
So there's so much around that, and I always want to talk to self-employed people time before they've done their taxes. Consult with me before you file your taxes. That way, at least you know what you can qualify before you hit the button and send it to the IRS.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I work with CPAs too with our buyers. And that's how we all collaborate together and make sure that we're all fulfilling the needs of these potential buyers.
And that's why I'm saying thank you, because now when I send a client, I'm not concerned that they're going to get panicky because someone already said no without even knowing their full picture. You're always like, let me see what it is. Let's see what the difficult thing is. Let's figure it out. And that's also why I wanted to have you on the show.
Truth be told, that's how I get a lot of my businesses. Some other lender didn't either want to give them the attention, didn't call them back. I don't know how they're in business, but so I get the feedback that so many just ghost them. Yeah. And they had all this criteria, but I guess because it wasn't easy. Yeah. Or maybe they didn't have the experience, and that's okay too. I will tell you, in my 18 years, I've probably done somewhere around 3,000 transactions, which is a lot. Yeah. And every single one of them is different, and every single one of them is a learning experience. I can't think of any. I guess I've only been doing this since I got out of college, but I literally learn something new every day. Something new blows my mind, a new guideline that I didn't know about. I learned something today. Yeah. No joke. I've been doing investment purchases with people for years, and there is a different guideline this time that I just didn't see. And I was like, okay, let me work that in.
What was the guideline? I'm just curious.
It was a reserve requirement.
Oh.
Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae have different reserve requirements when you are purchasing an investment property and you already own investment properties. So you have to have reserves for those, but some go off of the balance. Some go off of 6 months of the payment to income PTI on each property. And there was just different programs. And so that let me know for this particular buyer, oh, she really can't go Fannie. She's going to have to do Freddie Mac because that fits her situation better. Even though it's the same rate, same loan program, they have different guidelines.
And so we're going to double back.
You know, you get me talking, I'll keep going.
No, and I love it. And you're giving so many gems already. And I don't know where our audience is, whether they are first-time homeowners or investors or developers. So for the purposes of just covering everybody, I want to start as simple as Freddie versus Fannie and loan types. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So there are Your traditional mortgages are conventional,
Mm-hmm.
FHA, USDA, rural development, and VA. There are other loan programs, but those are your kind of core four that are
Mm-hmm.
what you consider traditional. That's what almost all lenders are able to do. And then within those, well, not rural development, they have their own underwriting
Yes.
system. But Fannie and Freddie, every FHA, VA, and conventional have Fannie and Freddie options.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the guidelines are parallel, but every once in a while, especially on conventional, there are some tweaks where they look at
Mm-hmm.
it differently. On a conventional mortgage, for instance, if you are in deferment on your student loans, Fannie requires that I put 1% of the student loan balance as the potential monthly payment, whereas
Okay.
FHA and
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Mac on conventional allow me to use 0.5%.
Right, which makes a huge
It
difference.
makes a difference. Yeah, it makes a huge difference in qualifying. If you're someone that's going to have private mortgage insurance, the debt to income ratio is going to be lower.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you could qualify both Fannie and Freddie, one of them's going to have a cheaper
Yeah.
PMI if you're not putting down 20%. VA looks at student loans completely different. They
VA does
multiply the
everything
balance.
completely
That's
different.
right.
That's why.
They multiply the balance of the student loans by 5% and then divide by
Okay.
12, and that is your proposed monthly
Monthly.
payment.
Okay. So say that again.
They multiply the balance of the student
Mm-hmm.
loans by 5%,
Okay.
and then divide that number by 12 to
12.
come up with the monthly.
Okay. I don't really like that system.
It actually ends up being lower than 0.5, but it's like a
Really?
smidge. I don't know why
Like
they
a
don't just do
smidge.
0.5.
Okay. Because
We're
doesn't
talking
it
like
sound like,
a
well, you know what?
dollar.
Because it's times 5%. Now I'm thinking a larger
But then
number,
divided
yeah,
by
and
12.
then divided by
When
right,
you
okay.
amortize over 12
Yeah,
months, it makes
it's
it
a better
better.
attractive deal, yeah. Because especially my lawyer clients, like there's hundreds of thousands of
I'm seeing them
student
all.
loan,
I
you
have an
know.
interior designer that has a bunch of student
Really?
loans. Yes.
Okay. so
Every
so thankfully we have
teachers,
options.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So thankfully we have options. And so 0.5 versus 1% is a huge deal. So that's why I wanted to discuss Freddie versus Fannie, the different loan types, FHA, conventional, USDA, those VA, right?
Yes.
And so let's talk about down payment for each loan.
Rural development is
Mm-hmm.
0% down payment, which is
Right.
awesome. It's one of the great loan programs out there. They actually just loosened up their purse strings a little bit and made
Oh,
their
nice.
their underwriting requirements a little looser. Before they were pretty strict. They had the tightest limit for your debt to income ratio.
Yes, they do.
They're tight, and they like that really nice and clean credit profile. They also raise their income limits to like up to 116 or so.
Okay.
Those are not, unfortunately, USDA rural development is not available in Orleans Parish, but it is in some of the surrounding areas. Most of the West Bank, Jefferson Parish, once you get out of Jefferson, East Bank, St. Tammany qualifies, St. John. So most of the surrounding parishes do qualify for that program if your
people are
income's in
always
there.
shocked when West Bank qualifies for RD and USD.
All
They
the
don't
time.
know that. I'm
Nope,
like,
no.
yeah, they think they have to go to like Gonzales, Sorrento.
You do not have to live in the country.
No, you
to have
don't.
a USDA loan.
I mean, because it's in comparison to bigger cities, so it's still considered rural. So,
it is. Even New Orleans is considered a small city.
Yeah.
With roughly about 400,000 people,
Yeah.
I believe. I mean, big enough to not qualify for USDA,
Right.
but we have other solutions.
Yes,
So
we
your
do.
next lowest down payment is going to be, or comparable, would be VA.
Mhm.
Now that is going to be specific to veterans.
Right.
What is interesting about a VA loan is you cannot have a cosigner that is not your spouse.
Now that is new to me. Now, obviously, we've never. I don't think we've ever had a VA situation where it wasn't husband, wife, or a singular person. So it has never come up. So see, like you say, every day you learn something new. I did not know that you could not have a cosigner.
So I actually need to crawfish back because you can do a VA loan, you just can't do 0% down. If you have a father and son, the dad's co-signing, for example, then you would have to make a down payment. It wouldn't be a zero down VA loan. And in that circumstance, I would probably, in most circumstances, I would recommend pivot that person to a conventional mortgage if they're going to have a cosigner or an FHA. Conventional will do as little as 3% down if you're a first-time home buyer, or haven't owned a home in the last 3 years.
Okay.
FHA is 3.5% down. All of these programs are eligible for down payment assistance.
Yes.
We have statewide and parish-wide grant programs. Some are stackable. Some are issued quarterly, and if you're buying a house in that quarter and there's funding available, you can add that on top of the other statewide programs that have fortunately not run out of money yet, or at least not in the last decade or so.
Right, I'm about to say, yes, thus far it's been good, right?
Yeah.
And I love a stackable.
Don't we?
Give me this and this. I don't want either or, I want both. And I've seen files like that where people walk away from the closing table with a check, which is not common, so please.
And even being refunded.
Right.
Being refunded the money that you've already put out, your appraisal, your inspections, some of those things that you want to do voluntarily to make sure that the house is represented correctly.
you can get that back. So
You can get it back. It's
we're
possible.
not promising that every time you buy a house or a property that you
Stylist can negotiate anything.
I can, but I have to set the tone because
Yes.
literally I have to be a miracle worker. So well, the miracle comes from him, and I'm just a vessel. But I'm always like, okay, wait, what? And
Y'all
then
are
I
a well-connected vessel.
Aw, you heard that, God. I appreciate. Not the week. I appreciate that. I really do. I fight hard for them.
You do.
And you fight hard for them, and I think we make an amazing team. And
that's the best thing I tell my customers. I know people have given up on me. I'm sure they've given up on you. I will not give up on you.
Yeah.
You will not give up on me.
No, I do not give up at all. At all. I think everybody should have the right to own something. It doesn't always have to be some people want condos, some people want multifamilies, you know, some people fix and flip. Now, you know, that's a different process which we could get into. But
It's
in
available.
general, right, it's available.
And it's a way to make money.
Yeah,
Ultimately, the
absolutely.
only reason people are doing that is that's a business model.
Yeah.
And if you have a business plan and that's part of it,
Mm-hmm.
collaborate with us. Let's
Yeah.
work on that
Let's
together.
make a plan.
The multifamily you brought up, that is one of the best things someone can do for your first home, to be able to find a multifamily
Mm-hmm.
where you have supplemental income already coming in to help you with that mortgage payment, to help you with the insurances and property taxes. That is honestly something that I've done.
Yeah.
You can move from your condo to your multifamily to your other multifamily,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually wait until you're ready to buy your forever home.
Yeah.
And that is a way to be able to keep collecting properties,
Yeah.
have long-term investment, and still be able to do minimum down payments as long
Yeah.
as you're willing to own or occupy that property initially.
Yeah, I always say especially if there's like, 'cause some people when it's a family, they don't want to have somebody connected to them, right? But I'm like, if you're buying your first property and you can buy
Yeah.
the multifamily first, and then the other thing they don't realize, and that's something I always tell them when they come to you, it's like, well, I don't know if I make enough money. I'm like, well, with the rental, that income is also counted towards your income when you qualify.
It puts you in a different
It
bracket.
puts you in a different bracket.
Roughly $1,000 in rent means you
Yeah.
can afford the $75,000 more of a
Mhm.
house.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it can sometimes, it first off makes it affordable because
Yeah.
our city is expensive. People want to live here. That's why it's
Yeah.
expensive. It is in demand, and there is more demand than there is housing.
Yeah, there is.
Especially if it's exactly the way you want it. It has the,
Yes.
all the things. I also want to encourage the bigger picture. Being able to look at the house and say, I can make this my own.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't like vanilla walls. Maybe
Right.
I don't like this carpet. These are really small things. If they're things that you can live with and have a project every year, you're really going to create that sweat equity, and you're going to have something at the end of the day.
Yeah.
More than what you'll take away more than you got
Yeah.
initially, or what you purchased into. So, and again, something I live by. I have done this myself. I have purchased property, put money into it. I can't always do it all at one time, but along the way, it could be something that you really want. And at the end of the day, you have something to fall back on. If you're ever in a jam, you can sell it. You can borrow against it. You have a foundation. You have a place. If someone in your life, we all have loved ones that we want to do for, well, that's a way you can do for them. You have something to leave to them. If they need somewhere to stay or a couch to crash, you have that couch for them.
You know, as a realtor, I don't
Loosely.
suggest that. Yeah.
Loosely. If it's your mom.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you can't say no to mom, right?
No.
But no, I agree. It's definitely a tool. It's definitely a tool to change your situation. And I know people, especially my clients, who will start with a double or two or three or four. Next thing you know, they don't have to work. Like they work because they love.
Have done
right.
That.
They work because they love to work, but not because they have to. Because the rental on the multifamilies are more than enough to suffice for their lifestyle. So
I can't tell you how many conversations I've had. I have a few that come to mind. I've created my little real estate monsters, moguls.
Yes. I call them repeat offenders.
Repeat offenders. That's right.
Like, oh, you're back for another one. Huh?
And we talk about it, and it's like, well, because they're like, I'm making enough money, and it can become a full-time job managing the properties.
Well, yeah.
Can I quit my job? And so we have those conversations. If you're going to want to buy another property, we need to do this. I am not a financial advisor, but when you are a mortgage advisor, it's still a similar amount of advice. I'm helping people plan their futures.
Yeah.
Based on their real estate portfolio.
Yeah.
So from that perspective.
So let's get into your real estate journey, right? Because I mean, I know you know a lot about like lending and stuff, but when you bought your first home, were you educated on at half of this? Like,
it was a different experience. I don't know what to say. You can be doing it for a few years, and when it's actually
when
your
it's
money,
you,
it's your credit, it's your pay stubs and things. I'll be honest. Every time it seemed like I was a kid again.
Yeah.
The first time I bought a condo in 2011, that was my first property.
Okay.
It just wasn't as common of a product. I had to, this is old school, I'm dating myself here. I was going through the book and circling what different condos would be approved and
Mhm.
scanning it to the underwriter because there just wasn't that much experience with doing condos in the
Yeah.
city. Well, condos make up 30% of our real estate market.
Wow.
They
I
make
wouldn't have
up
gave it 30.
30% of
You
the
know what I
listings in Orleans
mean?
Parish.
Yeah.
And so we have to know those. So I
Yeah.
learned firsthand with my own purchase the best way to do condos and how to get them approved. Who do you got to talk to?
Mhm.
Then from there, I went on and a couple of years later, I bought a duplex.
Mhm. Now, did you sell or keep the condo?
I kept the condo. I kept it as a
You
rental.
keep it. I always say, I mean, listen, if you're
I was
moving
going
and
to
you
be a
want
collector.
to, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I wanted to be a collector. In fact, I haven't sold a house before.
Yeah.
I've only purchased. So
Well, that's good because
that's
you've never
right.
called me to list the house. So if you had sold one,
No, I haven't
we'd have to talk.
been through that
No.
experience, so that would be different for me. When I purchased the double, I did utilize the FHA program, so I could do a
Okay.
lower down payment.
Okay.
At the time, doubles required a lot more down payment. Not anymore.
Yeah.
You can do as little as 3.5 with FHA.
Mhm.
You can do 5% with conventional. So that only came out just last year. Before
Okay.
you had to have 15% down for a double and 20 for 3 to 4 units. Now it's
Mhm.
5% for 3 to 4 units too.
Yeah, which is amazing.
It is amazing. It's a game changer for people who
Yeah.
want to get in that market.
That aren't real estate developers.
Yeah, there
you know
aren't
what I mean?
developers.
That haven't.
Or
Yeah.
come from money, and that was not my situation.
Yeah.
I am certainly self-made.
Mhm.
I am the first of my generation to graduate college.
Mhm.
I am one of the older cousins, though. In all fairness, but I was the first. So
Yeah.
in that sense, I'm a trailblazer within my family, and even in our local real estate market.
And in my heart. And in my heart.
Yeah.
So, okay, so your first one was a condo, and then you bought a multifamily, and then when did you buy your single family?
Honestly, recently in 2020, I bought a property that needs a gut renovation.
Nice.
And
I mean, I say
worked on it
nice.
for
Most people
3
don't
years.
think that's nice, but
I don't want to do it again.
I know.
Especially for a first-time home buyer, I do not recommend a huge project like that unless you are in construction and that is your
Mhm.
trade, or you are gifted and handy, or you grew up that way. I did have family that had rental property, so I do remember Saturdays and Sundays going with my dad to sit around, mow the grass, or hang out
Mhm.
while he was doing something at my grandparents' real estate
Yeah.
properties.
So it was something you were accustomed to at least.
It was, and I did have some help
Yeah.
with mine
Well, that's
too.
good. Well, that's good. That's good.
And when I married my husband, I also happened to marry someone who's quite handy, and so he does a lot of that work now when we need it, or we outsource. So
Yeah.
some of those things you have to mitigate your costs when you can, and YouTube teaches you a lot.
Yes, it does. Yes,
So
it does.
for non-major things that are not life-threatening,
Right,
like
right,
electrical
right.
work, you can YouTube some of these
Yes,
things.
everything is not DIY appropriate, but
No.
many things you can definitely figure out for sure.
I will tell you, HGTV, while it is fun, it is entertainment.
Yes.
It is not. Unfortunately, it is not the real world. From the purchase to the renovation process, again, it is entertainment. A lot of the times, they're not actors; they are real people buying these houses, but it's not always the house that they buy.
Yeah, but it's edited.
It's a show.
Yeah, it's definitely. And listen, I love a good HGTV show, but I think sometimes it sets people up for unrealistic. Yes,
unrealistic expectations
with the process or what they're gonna get. Just across the board. So
use it as inspiration.
Yes,
inspiration and motivation to want to buy a house, to want to spend your Saturdays fixing and cleaning that house.
Yeah, not Saturdays. That's all we have. I know.
Saturday morning is my day to do a lot of my cleaning.
Yeah, no, I understand. Okay, so we talked about the different loan types.
Yeah.
We talked about the down payment. Obviously, we talked about like the importance of ownership. What's one thing you'd want to leave the audience with that you feel they should know when it comes to real estate from a lender perspective?
I would want potential home buyers or people who are not homeowners now to not cut it out before you try.
Yeah.
To at least have the conversation. The worst thing I was going to say is, no, it's not your turn.
Yeah.
We got to wait 6 months. We got to do X, Y, Z. That's the worst thing I'm going to say. I always want my potential buyers to be fully transparent.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you know what we're going to tell other people.
Yeah.
Or if we tell them anything.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's painting the picture. I am your advocate. You will do the work, but I'm going to show you how to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to say, I love that you say we may have to wait. You did not say it's gonna be a no.
Yeah.
Like to be honest, it's never a no. I know that sounds funny to say.
I never say no,
but it's never a no because everybody could get there if you do the work, whatever the work may be, and the work is different for everyone. Whether it's credit or saving money, or being at a job a certain amount of time.
Sometimes it's a job.
Yeah, sometimes it's a job, income, debt to income ratio, whatever. But it's never no. And I want to say that because I was known for like the girl that turned no's into so's, because I would say 60% of my clients came to me from somebody else that told them no. And I sent them to you, and you know that they were told no.
Right.
And you're like, I don't know how to tell them no. Just blah, blah, blah. Like,
do that. Yeah, well, sometimes
yeah.
it just means we have to do a little extra
Yeah.
work or different work. And I do think the experience has a lot to do with it. And so when you have lenders that, oh, I've been doing this 20 years, but do you do one loan a month?
Yeah.
Are you on
Yeah.
a salary?
Yeah.
No, this is my bread and butter. If I don't find a way for you to get a house, I don't have a
You
paycheck.
can't take care of your house.
Yeah, I can't. No, exactly. I can't pay for my house. So,
So
it's only mutually beneficial that I find a solution for you.
yeah.
And I usually found really good ones.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to have you back on because there's no way to cover all that we need to cover in one sit down, you know. But I did want to at least kind of tap into the loan types, the experiences you've had. Maybe what was your hardest file to close? We'll leave them with something.
I don't know if I could pinpoint the hardest exactly, but
okay.
What I can stress is the more notice I have, the more time we have to get get it right.
The surprises, my God.
The surprises. If you haven't, for instance, if you're self-employed and you have 5 or 6 tax returns, I would really love to talk to you before the weekend that you're buying your house.
Yeah.
I have a lot that, even if we've bought before, the situation changes every year. So even if you bought with me 5 years ago, that's not an automatic you're going to be approved this year. I want to get ahead of your most recent tax filing year.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing that someone can do for themselves. Truly the hardest ones are the real estate moguls, my little monsters that I created, that I have helped enable. But now it's a matter of we have all these properties that we have to document in a different way than when you're a first-time home buyer.
Yeah, it's funny because it gets easier and then harder. You know what I mean? Like you first start out, it's a little hard because you don't have anything, and then you have a few things, so it's easier because you have stuff, and then you acquire more stuff, and now it's harder because
it's complex.
Right. It's complex. Yes,
you've had to bring in accountants, you've had to bring in CPAs, and so honestly, most of the first-time home buyers are a lot easier because they just don't have the baggage. We're calling it baggage, but it's productive baggage.
Yes, it's assets that feel like liabilities when we're doing loans. That's what it
just means more paperwork.
Just means more paperwork.
But usually those are very good buyers. They've been through the process before. They do trust me. If I ask for something, I promise I'm not asking for anything I don't need. I am not going to make my life harder unnecessarily. Right. So if it seems like, oh, she keeps asking for things, well, it's only because I need them. And it's like a domino effect. One document can trigger needing another document, can trigger another document. And so we try to get as much up front, but then once that documentation comes in, it could trigger the need for additional documents.
And I feel like you're really good about saying that, right? Saying that this may equate to 3 more or 4 more. If you send me something, keep it safe. We may need it again. So I always tell my clients to be transparent with the lender. I think people are often afraid, like, do I say I just got this new job?
She's gonna disqualify me.
Yeah, and it's like it's not a secret though. It's gonna come up. So if you tell me now, I can set us up to where that's not a problem that prevents you from purchasing. But if I find out later in the final hour, it could be a problem.
Communication is key.
Yes, it is.
I want to get you there. I want to get you into your home.
Yeah.
So if you think something is suspicious or something could jeopardize this purchase, that's the time to call me. Don't use Google. Same as when you go to the doctor. Yeah. Don't Google your symptoms. Call your actual doctor or your nurse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're going to scare yourself. Same for me. Don't Google every question that's real estate related. Text your lender. Call your lender.
And I am famous for saying that to clients. Like, did you call Coleena? Did you call Coleena? Did you call Coleena? Like, why are we guessing at stuff?
There's no guessing. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's just figure it out. So, if you didn't get anything from this episode, I hope you got that there are options, and that no really means not right now, but eventually. You know what I mean?
In real estate, no means
in
not
real
right
estate.
now.
Oh, in real estate. Oh my God. And no other thing. This is a new show. We don't want to get it canceled immediately. But in real estate, if you're being told no, it may not necessarily mean that you can never. It just means that some things need to be fixed, modified, adjusted, changed, right, for you to do it. So what we want you to do is feel empowered to try. And if you are someone who's been doing it, we want you to feel encouraged to continue doing it and not get overwhelmed because the process may be different from what you were accustomed to in the beginning. Right?
Or what you heard about.
Yes, or what you heard. I don't like a they said. We never know who they are.
Well, just the guidelines and market changes quarterly, not even year to year, quarterly. So I'm having conversations with people now that were different 3 months ago. Yeah. They were different in May. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
They're getting better. Yeah. If you're looking to buy, the terms are getting better.
So we'll say even if they are correct today, they may not be correct tomorrow. Yeah.
I'll leave you with Thank you so much for having me. This
You're
was a really good
welcome.
time,
Thank
and
you.
if there's enough interest, I'll be back.
Yes, no, but tell them how they can find you, where
Oh,
they can reach you, because even if you're not using me as an agent, you are available as a lender. They may just want to refinance. They may not,
I do that as well.
So
Any type of
please.
home financing, I'm going to be your expert there. Even things that don't fit those four molds.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Coleena Zimet. I'm with NOLA Lending. We are the residential lending division of Fidelity Bank.
Mm-hmm.
That email is usually easy, and text
Yeah.
and calls. My email is my name, COLEENA at NOLALending.com. Or you can text or call my cell phone, 228-218-3521.
Thank you, and thank you all for joining. We will have so much more to come as the season continues to go on. And if you have stuff that you specifically want to see, like if you're curious about any part of the process of something you heard that you're not sure of, you can send in questions or requests on the type of professionals you want to have on the show. You can either DM us on our IG at It's Giving Realty Podcast, or you can email us at stylist at realestatewithstyle.org. So until next time, pay everything on time. Don't close your accounts. And remember, no in real estate is just the not right now.